To my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this how to attach a band with a drawstring, like a elastic band and a drawstring to your pants, because I made a video once and someone was asking me how you attach a band, the band, like if you're making a jogger pants or anything with elastic waist and it's going to have a drawstring, so how you're going to attach it. So we're going to start with this one here. So just imagine this to be maybe like a skirt or anything, and then this is your center seam where you want, this is the front and this is the center line in front, right? So, and this is going to be the band I'm using to attach to it. So you what you're going to do is you're going to measure around the waist of this here and add half an inch to it, right? Whatever waist you're working with, measure around the waist of that and add, and then that's what you're going to use to mark your, cut out your band. But you're going to add half an inch on each side, so that's basically 1 inch, right? That half an inch is so that you'll be able to also close up that band. So I've already measured mine and it's exactly the same here, except I added about half an inch so that I can be able to close up the edge here. So guys, you see, you're going to leave half an inch on each side of it. So you see, I've closed it up. So now I have exactly the same waist for this band. So what I have to do now is, you see, this is the wrong side of my band. So I'm going to fold it into two this way. This is the first method that I'm trying to show you guys here. So you're going to fold it into two like this, like you're trying to make a band. You see, I've folded it into two, and then the right side is out, but the wrong side is on the inside. So guys, you see what I did here? I just sewed about 1 inch coming up from the bottom here, and then I sewed it down from the top. So you see, I skipped some part of it this way, you see, but I double stitched it at the top and double stitched it at the bottom. Let me say it again. So you see, if I fold this into two, I know halfway through where it's going to be, right? So I know if I fold it into two this way, I want this part of it to be open. So I sewed up about 1 inch coming up from this bottom part, and then the top stitch coming down from this, coming down from the back, right? This here came down a little bit to come over to the front. Let's say this is halfway through of my band. This side is going to be the back, this side is going to be the front. I sewed it 1 inch at the bottom here, and then I sewed down from this part here, came into the front by about half an inch. So when I fold this way, and then I ironed it separate both ways this way to overlap. And now what I have to do is just to go ahead and sew it down this four corner this way, up and down. So guys, if you look closely, you'll see that I sewed it down here in four corner this way. So let me turn the front so you can see. So I don't know if you can see the stitch I made down here, back this way, down here this way. So now all I have to do now is, now that I've made this opening for my loop, because this is where my loop is going to pass through, I'm just going to fold it this way now and fold it into two this way, and then I'm going to attach it to the waist. So this is the waist of my pant. All I have to do is just to take this here, this is the right side of my pant, and this is the center seam where I want because I want this center seam and the center of this to be together this way. So all I have to do is just to take it the way it is, and so I'm going to take this part that I want to be here, the opening for, because you want the rope to come out from here and drop in front of the skirt or the pants, whatever it is. You're going to take the center seam, place it at the center seam of this seam here, making sure that this opening is facing the front too. And then you're going to place it this way. And then just like that, I'm going to sew it all the way around, folded into two, leaving like about 1 inch for my elastic to pass through. So guys, you see, basically this is how I attached it. So you're going to put it like that and then sew it all the way around. But you can see, coming to this part here, I left it open a little so that I can pass my elastic using this 1 inch opening. But just imagine when I flip it up back again, this is what you have, right? So the waist is done now. And then just forget about this part, is where I'm going to pass my elastic from. So now when I pass my elastic through this opening and close it up, I can also pass my rope on top of the elastic, and then my rope will drop in front here. So let's say this is the rope I'm using. All I have to do is, after passing my elastic from this opening that I left here, I'm going to sew it close. So now I sew it close, and then you're going to weave this end, right? You're going to hem this end so it looks neat, and then you're going to push it back in this way. Then take your strap this way, and then you're going to pass it on top of the elastic like this. So you're going to pass it from one end, and then the two of them are going to come out at the end here. So guys, you see what I meant when I said to weave it. So I just use zigzag to just finish it. If you don't have weaving, just use your zigzag sewing to clean it up this way. So you see how neat it looks, and then you flip it inside of your cloth. So what you can do again is, if you want, you can top stitch it all the way to the end, like top stitch it down. If you want, you can leave it like this, the way it is. It still looks nice this way. You don't have to. Just go ahead and iron it down, iron it perfectly, and then you can just go ahead and pass the strap. So guys, you see it here. I've passed my this inside of it. So you see how it drops in front like this, and look at how neat the inside of this thing is. It's very neat. So this is the first method. Now we'll move over to the second method. So the second method, all you have to do is, I know you're wondering the width you're going to use for this here, the width you're going to use here. It depends on the size of the elastic you're using. For me, the size of elastic I'm using is about 1 inch elastic. So I'm going to use about 3.5 inches of width, or make it 3.7 or almost 4 inches, so that, don't make it 4 inches, so that you have enough room inside of it, right? Because if you use 3.5 width, right, and you fold it into 2, 3.5 folded into 2, you're going to have let's say you use 3 inches, right? 1.5 on this side, 1.5 on this side, and then you use that half an inch from the 1.5 on both sides, then you're left with exactly 1 inch inside of it for the casing. That will make your elastic too tight. It will move and then it starts to bend. But if you use about 3.5 inches, you will still have about, after taking away that half an inch to join the edges of this, half an inch on one side, half an inch on one side, to join the edge to the body of the cloth, you will still have about 2.5 on each side of it, because you used 3.5. So basically just cut out 3.5 width. It will be better, not 4 inches, 3.5 width. That is if you're using 1 inch elastic. So another thing you can do is just check the elastic you're working with inside of this here, and then inside of the casing that you're working with, and then you fold it into 2 and figure out how much fabric it will need after you take away the half an inch to join it. But just remember, you will need half an inch on both sides of this here. As it's folded this way now, you need half an inch on this side and then half an inch on this side at this edge to be able to attach it to the body of the cloth. So just use something that will still be enough for your fabric elastic to move inside, but not too loose and not too tight. So guys, for this method here, all you have to do is just cut out the band that you need to use. For me, this is about 3.5 inches of width, and then I sewed it right round the pants, right side facing each other, sewed it down, and then at the point where I started, I left about half an inch before sewing it. So now that I've gotten to this point again, I'm going to just use that same half an inch on this leftover to sew it down this way and cut off the excess. So guys, now you see I've sewn this thing closed like this. So I've sewed it close, and then after sewing it close, I closed up the waist again. So now I have my waist complete, and then I've closed this part up. So now for this one here, what I have to do is this center part. You can also use this same method of making this sides, this your one seam to be at the center, and then leave some parts open. If you want, you can use that method. But for this one here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make, you know how you normally make a buttonhole, right? So how you make a buttonhole, I'm going to make that square. You can make one of it and the 2 loops will come out from that one, or you can make 2 of it and then one on this side, one on this side, and then the 2 of the. So guys, depending on the method you want to use, you can make one square like this up here and then use it as your button. You know how you make a buttonhole? You can use one. This is my center line here. This line here is the center of my pants. You can see my seam down here. Or another thing you can do is you can just do, since this is the center line of this pant, you can do 1 box on this side and then 1 box on this side. So how you normally put your buttonhole. So all you have to do is just to go ahead, use that machine and then stitch it this way, and then use your razor to open up this one, and then the same thing on this side, stitch it round to make your buttonhole. How you make a buttonhole, and then use a razor blade to open up this side. That's how you're going to do it. Or you just use the one box here, and then everything comes out of this one box. It depends on the method you want to use. So once you do that, you use your razor blade to slice it open this way, and then once you open it up, Guys, as you can see, I'm doing it at the very bottom here, because once I fold this into two, halfway through this here is going to be somewhere here. So everything I'm doing is on the half of the side that is going to be in front. So you see, this here is going to be here. Try to avoid your seam also. So you can bring it down a little bit further, but try to avoid the waist seam. So now after that here, what I'm going to do is just to take it this way, flip it this way. So this is how you're going to now sew it. You're going to flip it into two again, and then tuck it in like this, and then sew it down all the way around. So let me show you again. So once you've made your opening, you flip it into two again to cover it. But before you flip it in, tuck in this one by that 1/2 inch you need to sew it with, and then place it on top this way and sew it all the way around. So once you sew that all the way around, then you come back in front here. But you're not going to sew everything close, because you still need to leave about 1 inch so that you can pass the elastic. But once you pass your elastic, you close up that seam, and then you from this opening is where you will now pass your rope, right? So from the inside. So guys, as you can see, I've sewn this down, but I left a space for my elastic. So I left this opening here. So from this part here, all you have to do is to take your elastic, and then you're going to start from one side, pass it all the way around, and then once it comes out to this end, you sew down enough that you will need. Then the next thing you're going to do now is to take this opening in front here, and then you're going to start from one side and pass your you're going to pass this strap from one end to the other. So guys, that's basically the only difference, is that you have your elastic inside of this here so that it will be more firm. But as you can see in this video, I just used just the strap, but just note that you pass your elastic first before you put in your strap from this opening. So that's basically the two methods of doing this here. Remember, you can do two openings, you can do one. So any method you want to use that works better for you, you can do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.